Hey guys, it's Thunder here, and welcome to another episode of Need for Speed Most Wanted Mod Showcase. And in today's episode, we've got 3 new cars, and all of which I've tested already, because this is actually the second attempt of me trying to record this. I've experimenting with the newer OBS Studio, and I used to use OBS Classic for all the other Mod Showcase videos. It did work when I did the April Fool's video, because I did do the April Fool's video with OBS Studio, but that was like an earlier version, and the audio seemed to have a bit of glitchiness. I did play back the failed recording at this end. It looks like the audio problem now seems to be gone, which is great. Apparently that was a lie, you literally just heard it. But of course, hopefully the video will actually work this time around. Anyways, the first car we have here, requested by The Future is Bleak, is a Gumpert Apollo Sport. It's actually one of the first Gumpert Apollo mods that were made for Most Wanted, because this one, I believe, comes from 2010. We've actually got another mod here that also will come from 2010, which we'll get to later. This replaces the Porsche 911 GT2, so it replaces a bonus car, so all you can really put on it is junkman parts, as well as paint and wheels. I'm not going to show off the wheels because it's pretty much all the same. But yeah, all we really are able to do with this car is paint, so I'm just going to give it like this blue paint here, and that's really it. Of course, I can obviously, I guess, also do this, where I can put window tint, because that works. But yeah, but that's about it. Let's try not to worry about that, though, because it's more about how the car performs and what I think about it, rather than that. So, time for Petersburg. So, for these mod showcase videos, what I do is take each 3 cars around the Petersburg track, give them 3 flying laps, and just get a good, and of course, whichever the best time I can get out of them for a lap, that's what goes on the leaderboard. Whether it's an absolutely outstanding lap or a lap that could have been better, because of course, as I mentioned in the last mod showcase, the series no longer has the main focus of trying to just get as fast of a lap time as possible, because once we got to the likes of the Sonic Speedstar, and then later in the last video with the Fiat 1000 TC/bar, it pretty much will at this point be pretty much all over the leaderboards, so pretty much there's not really much of a need for that. Now, the Gumpert Apollo Sport does seem to have some decent power to it, and it handles very nicely. It can take these corners at quite good speeds, and it can definitely hold it, and definitely knows how to hold its own. I'm just going to get rid of that out of the way. I'm probably going to start reminding myself to do that every first lap, because I've had too many instances where I run into that on not first lap, including the last time the first attempt I'm trying to record with the Gumpert Apollo here, so might as well do it now and just keep it that way. And it's a little not straight coming off that jump there, but that's okay. But yeah, this thing is just a really rewarding car to drive. It's got good power to it, so it'll be very competitive if you're racing, of course, like AIs, or if you happen to do net play stuff with friends over something like Tungle and whatnot. But it also just has a lot to show for its overall performance. Like, just overall the way it drives, it's simple. It's not trying to slide out on you. It's well balanced. It's well optimized. Well optimized. Okay, that's a really weird term. It's well balanced, is what I should be saying. Sorry. And it doesn't want to put up a fight with you. It's just drive it around and just get as fast of a lap time as possible. In fact, that lap time was pretty good. That was better than any of the other attempts I had when I was originally recording this on the Lost Part, because damn you, OBS Studio. Needless to say, that I'm kind of glad that that's happened now, because the fact that I did an even better job with this car now definitely is a bit more rewarding to me. Oh, that did get a little close, but we did not touch, and that is the important bit, so no speed was lost whatsoever. I do like that this thing can actually get up to about 215 at that section. It's pretty good. Okay, that could have been a little better, but not terrible. We definitely would have been smacking into those if those were still there, but since they weren't, we are in fact okay. So that's why I'm going to start reminding myself, remember to always do that on the first lap. And there we go. Pretty much that's the basis of what this thing will do. It's pretty much lower to mid 53-second lap times for the Apollo Sport here. And that's generally fine with me, because, you know, it's a good time. Like I mentioned, it'll be very competitive. It pretty much competes with the highest end cars of the vanilla game, like the Lotus Elise and BMW M3 GTR. It goes in between the both of them, so this car is right up there with them. So that's, and the fact that it managed to do that while still replacing one of the bonus cars, the Porsche 911 GT2. It's definitely a good thing to see. Now, of course, for those of you asking, why didn't you do cars like the 911 GT2 or the Mercedes SL65 AMG or Chevrolet Camaro SS or BMW M3 GTR Street, is because they're just not fast enough. The fact that you can only put junkman parts on them and the way that they were given performance-wise in this game, it would just be too far down, so it just wouldn't really make for something entertaining, in my opinion. But yeah, 53.27 is a very nice showing for the Apollo. Anyways, next up we've got a bit of a meme here. Requested by Dominic and Noah Productions, we have a Honda Civic, a pretty old Honda Civic mod from 2007. Dominic specifically wanted me to choose this particular Civic SI mod from 2007 because he remembers having had it back in his game back then and remembers it being a little bit silly and crazy. So we're just going to have to see if that holds true. Now, it's got a few body kits here, and I personally like the second one the most, so that's the one we're going to go with. Of course, we can obviously put wings on it, so I'm just going to do that because, you know, it's a Civic, why not? Just make it, it's just meant to be silly anyways. Of course, we can put hoods on it, so we're going to go for DJM hides, and yes, roof scoops do work, but no thank you. You already know my feeling about those. So paint wise, we're gonna give it a gloss red, and vinyls do work on this car, but they're a little broken, so we're going to probably just go with something, you know, that's not too crazy, but I guess can also show off what I mean by broken. So yeah, let's put like let's see here, what will work okay. Something like this. You can kind of see that it's, yeah, it's not quite proper. But we're just going to do this because, just look at that. It's, the guy, I mean, I get that it's an old mod, but you kind of wish the guy actually kind of took notice about this before actually releasing it. Even to the, I mean, they should have even made it so that it says Honda instead of Fiat in that spot. But of course, nah. I guess times were different back then, so whatever worked was a bit more simpler. But, you know, that's not the important case here. The important case is just seeing how this does. Alright, so let's see how the Civic fares. And already I can tell we've definitely got a bit of a speedy car on our hands. There's a lot of speed to it. Not Fiat 1000 TC levels, but a lot. And this thing, oh my god, that's the first time I've ever seen the jump camera on that before. That's a bit interesting. So this thing's got a lot of sudden grip handling to it, like it's suddenly like that, like that. But then after that initial bit, it tends to kind of give up after that. It seems to be quite a bit of understeer afterwards. So whilst I can get a lot of speed with this car, in fact, the way this car drives, you can see this thing can easily hit 250 miles an hour, which for a Civic is just ludicrous. It's just not got enough. Like, that initial bit is all it got, and then it just kind of gives up after that. And that doesn't help too that it's so responsive, because I gotta be careful. I basically have to be careful at these corners, or else I'm just basically going to smack right into a bunch of walls, and that won't really help with its lap. Nor will that sun flip, apparently. Well, that was very sudden. I had a flip similar. I had a flip as well in the last attempt on this. It was a little more dramatic, so it's kind of unfortunate that that part did not survive. But you know, this thing's a little unstable, I guess. I mean, it's definitely fast. It can definitely get a good lap if you really push it and really get down the way this car handles. But it's just kind of unfortunate that it was pretty much seems to be more for speed, and that's about it. I mean, that was a great example of just how much understeer this thing's got after that initial bit. It's unfortunate. It seems to, in fact, steer more the faster you go, which is kind of scary. But what can you? Well, I suppose what can you do? Again, with the jump camera, this thing seems to get... This is like the first car I've ever had around this track go around the jump section of Petersburg and get the jump cameras. I've not had any other car be able to do that yet, so That's definitely something, to say the least. It's just a shame I can't really make good benefit out of this car, because I'm trying very hard to get this car around the corners and not smack into anything, but after that initial bit, it just kind of mostly gives up after that. You really, like, you have to let go of the throttle for this one if you're gonna get this car around the corners, so that's the best way I'm gonna be able to get as good of a lap time that I'm gonna be able to get with this. Otherwise, it's just smash, smash, eat, smash. But, you know, 50.78, that gives you an idea of just still how stupidly fast this car is. And again, the jump camera, what is going on here? It's kind of, I find it kind of silly that it's even managing to do that, but hey, you know, I guess it gives a little bit more of a dramatic effect. In fact, I could probably use that for a thumbnail then. Make that a little, like, make it a little more interesting, I suppose. Might actually start doing that. I want to probably make my thumbnails a little more interesting, because it's been, like, the same kind of format since the start, and, you know, at least having some switch-ups with it could, you know, help a little bit. But, man, this thing is just... Oh, I just can't get the hang of this, the way this car handles. It's just... It seems to feel like it grips more the faster you go. But then, of course, everything comes by so fast it's hard to time it. So, you know, there's only so much I can really do with that. But... You know, if you like silly kind of quick cars, and I guess the Civic may be up your alley, because a 50.78 is a pretty serious deal. This, I think, yeah, of course, if with the Fiat thing earlier, this does replace the Fiat Punto. By the way, I may have forgotten to mention that, but you may have already known because Fiat Punto. Anyways, and our final car is perhaps one of the most interesting ones. It's a Chevrolet Corvette C5.R, requested by Juracer X, as I'm just gonna say. If you prefer your name being said a different way, please let me know. But I think it just, to my head, it just comes off as Juracer X. Anyways, the Corvette C5.R replaces, of course, what else? The Corvette C6.R. The C5R has always been one of my favorite race cars because of how successful it is, and just because it looks so nice. It's a really interesting looking race car. And one of my favorite parts, it's actually got actual racing liveries as body kits. These ones actually come from the first Race Driver Grid game, because of course this car is in that game. So that's definitely one way to definitely like this car. It's got, you know, a few pretty interesting ones. I really like the second particular one here, the Super Chips, because it looks just very, very appealing and whatnot. And I don't mind this one, but, you know, I suppose it's a little more obvious. So I'm going to go with the Super Chips one and roll with that. And again, that's about all you can do. The wheels can probably also definitely change, but, you know, nothing really else to show off for this one, so we might as well just go and take this car around Petersburg then. Okay, this Corvette may be giving me a little bit more of a handful because it's a good handling car and it's got good speed, but just knowing when you really need to pull in those turns and the amount of speed you need is kind of throwing me off a little bit with this car. So it has a bit of a more of a gradual curve with this thing to really get the best lap times out of it. But, you know, once you do that, it'll give you a really, really nice quick time, so... Oops. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about too much about that. That's the first lap, so... But yeah, it's just really bugging me right now. I'm trying really hard to make sure that the lap can be as smooth and not having a lap that at least has little, if no, like, impacts like that. But I'm just not really giving it enough go, and that's just... Yeah, I don't know. Could be doing much better with it, but it's just not the case. But anyways, let's just hope that I can finally get this stick out of my ass and give this Corvette the lap it deserves, because it really deserves a really good lap. Oh my God! I'm doing it again. I love how I say that, and I just... I'm just doing things at the wrong time. It keeps bringing me down for this. Like, my God, can I get a lap without issues like that, please? That would be really nice. Just kind of ease a little bit, and there you go. I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to relax here, and it's like, It just keeps happening. It just has to keep happening. Why does it have to keep happening, man? There we go. Oh, God. That was not the smoothest around there, but I'll take it. Okay, and that was not the tightest either, but again, I'll take it. You know, I don't think it's too serious. I just really want the lap of a lifetime, maybe. Maybe I just want this Corvette to beat us, the goddamn Civic. Why would what do I need a Honda Civic to beat the to be the fastest? I mean, at least with the Fiat, it was an interesting car. The Civic is a Civic. Civics aren't that interesting. Most people don't even like the Civic. I mean, I don't mind the Civic personally, because I've driven a Civic in real life. They're not that bad of cars. But the Civic beating out the likes of a Corvette C5.R and a Gumpert Apollo Sport. I guess it's just more daunting when you know the fact that there is another car that could easily, on a really hot run, could definitely, potentially beat it. But you know, oh come on, that was not the best. I'm probably trying, admittedly, too hard here. Like really just trying here. Oh, come on. Okay. Alright, nope. Alright, everything's okay. This lap does feel good, though. I've got a good feeling that this might be able to do it. Really hoping it does, because, Civic, man. A Civic being the fastest of the bunch is just gonna taunt me. But did this do alright? Okay, a 50.68. That's a lap time, alright. I think, but I can't remember if that was better than the Civic or not. I'm going to have to go find out now. So, on to the overall leaderboards, and coming in, of course, as the fastest of the bunch, by not much, is the Chevrolet Corvette C5.R, which leaves me happy with a 50.68 second lap time. I have nothing against you, Dominic, trust me. It's just a Civic being the fastest would have made my head explode. It did come close, though, with a 50.78 directly below it for 5th place. Corvette, of course, being 4th place. Beating out the Skyline R34 DTM Edition, BMW M3 GTR, and Hennessy Venom GT, but not just somewhat off of the Peugeot 406 Taxi. And a little bit further down, not too much though, in 9th place is, of course, the Gumpert Apollo Sport with a 53.27, just beating out by a whole tenth of my pick, the Fairlady Z432, and is very, very slightly down on the Hennessy Venom GT. So, to get a recap, a fantastic driving car that's very rewarding and very nice. Memes, I guess is all you could say, and if you give it just enough power and force, you can get one hell of a lap time with this guy. But anyways, that's it for this episode. Of course, stay tuned for the next. I apologize that this episode was a little bit late. I just kind of forgot to really do this until now. Oops. But in the meantime, of course, stay tuned, and as always, thank you for watching, and take care. And if by the way, if you do have any mod suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, unless you've already suggested me and you're still waiting for yours to appear, in which case wait for that first before you suggest another one, just to make it fair to people. Anyways, like I said, stay tuned for that, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and take care.